If you are living in the UK or you are just visiting for the holidays, pay attention. Whatever you do, it is best to avoid buying mince from these 10 supermarkets. It does not matter if there are no other supermarkets around you.
This is absolutely disgusting. I didn't know that they started vacuum packing mince.
It is best to watch this video until the end to learn all of these facts, because they may save your life and the lives of your loved ones. Tesco. It is best we start with the biggest supermarket for mince in the UK. Over the years, Tesco has built a reputation on providing the best quality meat to UK residents. But what if I told you that Tesco's reputation was built on a lie? You might be wondering what I mean by that. Several sources reveal that buying meat from Tesco may be as dangerous as eating food straight out of the gutter.
You're going to hit the roof when you find out Tesco's been doing it since July. Since July. Tesco's, feed, methane.
The Food Standards Agency alert landed after routine checks found packs labelled for sale deep into the next month, far past the point any meat should be considered fresh. Still sceptical? Perhaps a report from an insider will suffice. Whistleblower accounts from inside Tesco describe a daily reality where staff are pressured to keep waste down, sometimes at the expense of food safety. One former employee, speaking on condition of anonymity, said managers instructed workers to check the date but make sure nothing gets binned if it can be relabeled. These testimonies echo through union archives and industry circles, though no leaked memos or photographs have ever been made public. Inspectors also recorded chilled display units running at 8.6 degrees Celsius and at 6 degrees Celsius, both well above the legal 5 degrees Celsius threshold. While meat packs on those shelves carried altered date labels, Tesco's official response promises ongoing reviews. Yet the cycle of recalls and quiet corrections continues. If the biggest brand for mince meat in the country is facing these accusations, trust in the entire supply chain will unravel. Asda. In February 2023, a shocking revelation about Asda came to light. The company's chicken samples carried bacterial loads 3 times higher than the accepted maximum for fresh poultry. The chain of custody was airtight. Each sample was tracked from supplier warehouse to supermarket shelf, with independent analysts logging temperature and handling at every stage. One certificate, dated the 14th of February 2023, listed colony forming units at over 700,000 per gram, far above the 100,000 guideline set by food safety authorities. Packaging failures made the problem impossible to ignore. Consumer panels reported trays that leaked liquid, with seals so loose that meat arrived damp and sometimes already giving off a sour smell. Photos from tests show Asda's signature yellow trays with pooling fluid under the film, a clear sign of breached packaging and compromised safety. Staff logs reviewed by inspectors reveal that on busy days, temperature checks were skipped as understaffed teams rushed to keep shelves filled with products. You are spending your hard-earned money on food that could kill. Most customers consider any Morrison's store a place where shoppers can expect honest cuts and expert advice. But inspection records and customer complaints reveal a different reality behind the glass. Hygiene logs from January 2025 document repeated health lapses. These lapses include equipment left uncleaned and meat handled between tasks without proper sanitation breaks. Rather than discarding meat approaching its sell-by date, staff were instructed to strip off old labels and repackage it as freshly minced. This was often done to avoid throwing stock away, not to protect the customers. Several complaints made by customers paint a frightening picture, reporting mince with an odd grey tint and a sour smell, often bought from stores where the butcher counter is a main selling point. A former Morrison's employee requested anonymity and recalls being told by management to make it look presentable and not to waste what can be used. If you shop at Aldi, you already know why people love it. The tiny parking lots, the no-nonsense store layout, the quarter cart rental system that feels like joining a secret society. But there are things going on behind the scenes that will make you puke. Hidden deals, quality hacks, and a few things the company would probably prefer you did not think too hard about. Let's look at the ground beef you love so much. The ground beef in particular looks like a steal. Often under £4 for a pound, it feels like you have unlocked some frugal shopping level few others know about. The 80% lean ground beef is the unsung hero of weeknight dinners, burgers, tacos, pasta sauces, meatballs. It handles them all with grace. Enough fat to keep your dish flavorful, but not so much that you are left spooning out pools of grease afterward. It is dependable, affordable, and always there when you need it. But here is the thing. Aldi will not advertise the package. Similar to that friend who travels the world, yet never posts about it, the ground beef could be more well-travelled than you think. Thanks to a change in country of origin labelling laws, grocery stores are no longer required to disclose if the beef comes from multiple countries. That tray of beef could be sourced from cattle raised in the UK, Mexico, Canada, Australia, or even Africa, all blended together before ending up at your local Aldi. The only required information is where it was packaged. So, while you might see packaged in the UK, that does not guarantee the cow lived its life there. And if you are hoping for grass-fed beef packed with healthy omega-3 fatty acids, Aldi's standard beef might leave you disappointed. It mostly comes from conventionally raised cattle on grain-based diets designed to fatten them up as quickly as possible. Several studies revealed that grass-fed beef can have up to 5 times more omega-3 fatty acids than grain-fed alternatives. So while Aldi wins on price, the health benefits of the meat might not be quite as impressive. Then there is the family pack dilemma. That big block of ground beef looks like an amazing deal until you get home and realize you now own £5 of rapidly aging meat. Co-op. The company's supermarket shelves carry the promise of ethical standards and community values, a reputation built on decades of careful branding. But official records tell a less reassuring story. A few months ago, environmental health officers arrived unannounced at a Manchester branch and discovered poultry displayed past its use by date. Inspectors cited the store for failing to keep raw and ready-to-eat foods properly separated in the prep area, a basic safeguard against cross-contamination. The penalty was swift and public, a fine of £15,000. Internal shift logs, reviewed after the inspection, revealed a pattern of high staff turnover, with rotas changing so frequently that half the team had not completed the mandatory food safety module. Covert purchase logs from consumer groups found that Co-op's so-called fresh meat routinely had some of the shortest shelf lives in the market, often only 1 or 2 days from expiry at point of sale. Customers consistently placed Co-op's meat below premium competitors, with comments ranging from borderline stale to lacking any real flavour. For shoppers paying a premium, the gap between ethical image and operational reality can feel like a costly betrayal. However, what happened in Manchester is not peculiar. 5 patterns keep surfacing no matter which supermarket badge is on the door. Chronic understaffing leaves key safety checks missed or rushed. Temperature breaches are routine, with meat stored above the 5 degrees Celsius safety line, sometimes for hours, giving bacteria every chance to multiply. Pressure from managers to relabel or ignore expiry dates means products that should be discarded are quietly kept on sale. Cheap, high-volume suppliers, often flagged for hygiene lapses, supply much of the meat, and thin, leaky packaging lets in contaminants and accelerates spoilage. The science is blunt. At just over 5 degrees Celsius, bacteria such as Salmonella and Listeriosis can double every 20 minutes. A pack left sitting in a warm display or a fridge that is overdue for repair is not just a minor slip. It is an open invitation for dangerous microbes to take hold. For shoppers, the risks are real, but avoidable. Before you buy, check for intact seals and clear dates. Steer clear of trays with pooled liquid or swelling. Marks and Spencer is another supermarket renowned for quality, kindness, and refinement. Yet their misstep goes in an entirely different direction. It is truly unexpected that the most elegant name in Britain stumbled into the sort of mistake usually found in cheaper products. Earlier this year, Marks and Spencer made me reconsider a few things I once firmly believed. I understand why Marks and Spencer was the first national retailer to convert all its fresh chicken to slow-growing breeds, 100% RSPCA assured, with more space and full natural light. From the outside, Marks and Spencer looks like the flawless version of British food retail, and perhaps this is why their recent slip created significant noise. At the end of January this year, Marks and Spencer in Northern Ireland had to urgently recall 2 breaded chicken products, crispy southern fried chicken burgers and 2 chicken kiev. The reason was so shocking, I had to read it twice. Salmonella. The Food Standards Agency even issued a "do not eat" warning, asking customers to return the products. Admittedly, any supermarket can have an incident, but when the name behind it is Marks and Spencer, the feeling is entirely different. It is like hearing that a model teacher has failed an exam. What worries me most is not only the salmonella, but the fact that it appeared in breaded chicken products heavily used by older adults. Convenient food, easy, quick, requiring little handling. I have met many who simply heat it in the oven for a few minutes and eat. And that is the problem. The golden, crispy coating looks delightfully cooked, giving the impression that the inside is thoroughly done. Younger bodies recover faster from mistakes, but after 50, the immune system does not work the way it used to. Some people infected with salmonella show no strong symptoms on the first day, leaving them unaware that the bacteria has spread deeper. Others do not get obvious diarrhea, but suffer joint pain, fatigue, or intermittent fever, never realizing it came from the convenient chicken they had the previous evening. Sainsbury's employees are speaking out, and what they reveal about certain products will change how you shop forever. These are the people who stock the shelves, handle the food, prepare the meals, and see what really happens behind closed doors. For this section, we are looking at chicken. Frozen chicken breasts are among the basic things people buy from Sainsbury's. They are cheap, convenient, perfect for a quick dinner. But employees have revealed something shocking that will make your stomach turn. A warehouse worker told investigators that those chicken breasts arrive in terrible condition. Sometimes the packaging is damaged. There is ice buildup that suggests the meat has been thawed and refrozen, and the smell when a case is opened is off. Staff are under pressure to put them out anyway. Refreezing chicken is not just about texture, it is about safety. When chicken thaws, bacteria multiply exponentially at room temperature. Salmonella and Campylobacter can double in number every 20 minutes. Refreezing does not kill those bacteria. It only pauses their growth until you thaw the chicken at home. Beyond employee testimony, the labels speak volumes. The label can say chicken breast with added water and salt. That added water can be up to 30% of the total weight. You are paying for water that has been injected into the meat to increase weight and profit margins. It is not just water. That solution also contains sodium phosphates. These are used to help the meat retain the injected water. Sodium phosphates can interfere with calcium absorption in your body and have been linked to kidney problems and cardiovascular issues when consumed regularly. An employee described the storage conditions. The freezers where the basic chicken is kept are not always at the right temperature. Sometimes they are too warm. Sometimes temperatures fluctuate. This affects food safety, but management does not want to hear about it, because fixing freezers costs money. The chicken itself comes from intensive indoor farming operations. These chickens never see daylight. They are packed into sheds by the thousands, fed grain mixed with growth promoters, and slaughtered at just 5 or 6 weeks old. The basic range of chicken is specifically sourced from the cheapest suppliers. A former buyer told journalists that procurement pushed suppliers to go lower and lower on price. They achieved this by cutting welfare standards, using faster-growing breeds that suffer more health problems, and processing the meat as quickly and cheaply as possible. When you cook Sainsbury's Basics chicken, notice how much liquid comes out. That is all the injected water being released. You are left with a smaller, tougher piece of chicken than what you started with. You paid for water weight that disappears during cooking. Lidl, UK. While some may have issues with how cheap meat is at Lidl, I have always believed that low prices are not the issue. The issue is what has been cut in order to create that price. And when it comes to cheap chicken in the UK, it is hard to overlook Lidl. This is about price and what is sacrificed to get it. Many people choose Lidl because of its straightforwardness. Cheap is simply cheap, without fuss, without embellishment, without the feeling of being dazzled. You walk in, push your trolley around, and can walk out with a week's worth of food at a price that makes you feel you have shopped wisely. I understand that, and I certainly have nothing against low prices. But with chicken, my question is always, how exactly is it this cheap? In recent years, many animal welfare organisations have spoken about ultra-fast growing chicken breeds, often referred to as Franken chickens. These birds are bred to gain weight so quickly that their bodies can barely keep up. Their legs cannot support the weight. Their hearts struggle. Their skin burns from lying too long on damp litter. They grow so fast that you almost feel their bodies are being stretched. When I read reports about such flocks, the first thought that comes to my mind is, there is no way an animal grown like that can produce good quality meat. Quality is compromised. I am not saying supermarket chicken is always bad, but when a system is built to sell chicken at the lowest possible price, cuts must be made somewhere. And more often than not, the first thing to be cut is the welfare of the bird. This creates an indirect risk for those over 50. Not the sort of immediate poisoning, but a slow, persistent, hard-to-notice kind of effect. For example, fast-growing chickens often have higher levels of visceral fat than slow-growing chickens. For you in your 20s, that is just a few grams of fat. But after 50, this becomes a factor that makes meals more likely to cause bloating, indigestion, or to worsen fatty liver. I have met many people who have eaten industrial chicken for years and always wondered why their liver enzymes increased even though they hardly drank alcohol. Additionally, stress in animals affects meat quality. Chickens raised in high-density environments with little movement and limited light have higher biological stress levels. This situation leads to certain phenomena consumers sometimes see but do not understand, such as mushy meat or areas that are alternately tough and soft. For younger people, the body processes this type of protein more efficiently. But for older adults, digestion is less flexible, making bloating or fatigue after meals more common. And as you know, this feeling can last the entire day, affecting sleep, blood pressure, and blood glucose. Welfare matters for health. I know some will say that low prices make life more comfortable. That is true, but when it comes to health, especially at this age, protein quality matters more than you think. A chicken that grows too quickly is never a chicken that is good for long-term human health. And then when we look at the final name on the list, the story takes a completely different turn. It is no longer about breeds, nor about welfare or growth rates. This time, the issue lies in the very origin of the chickens that end up on the shelves. And believe me, this is the most unexpected blow for those who think they have chosen the right place to buy chicken. So what do you think? Have you been buying mince from these supermarkets? Share your experiences in the comments. Subscribe to the channel for more supermarket revelations. What you do not know can really send you to the hospital.